Hey guys, Studious Toe here, and welcome to the Bagel Nation. Last time we came through the Huntsman's Copse, or Copse, or however it's pronounced, fought Skeleton Lords, and this time we are headed into this area, this new poison area. And I'm saying poison area because I cannot remember, even though I just saw the name of the area. I can't even remember what it's called off the top of my head right now. So these guys, they're not that difficult with range. That's kind of the best way to take them out. However, you have to be careful. They have those dark magic attacks that are kind of annoying and can kill you unexpectedly. You'll see my blood stain up ahead where I died. I cut that out because they hit me with one of those and I thought I was completely safe, so I just kept on attacking with range and killed me. The first one, you're completely safe to fight as far as I know. These guys can be a little more dangerous. That attack doesn't really have any vertical movement on it, it's just horizontal, but it can mess you up. Up here you have to come and pull a lever, and when you pull that lever, it opens the door that lets you proceed through the area. If I remember correctly, I have a lot of silly deaths that will not make it into the final cut of this video. So I don't know. It's I don't know how to feel about this area. I think it's good, but it doesn't just stand out to me as great, so that's why I'm indecisive as to whether or not I like it. You know, you see me, I'm doing pretty decent damage to most of the enemies, so it's not too much of an issue as far as difficulty. And especially with my dual maces, my akimbo maces that you'll see me using to very to high success, I'd say. I did run and pick up some items in the previous section of this area. I skipped a lot of stuff in here. There's an ambush in here that's pretty difficult, and I just decided not to go for it. I couldn't... my rule, I think, generally is if I don't remember what an item is, I'm not going to waste time getting it unless it's on the beaten path, at least after the first playthrough or two. And if I happen to need something, I can either go back and get it, or just look it up online, or in some combination of the various tools available. That's just me. If you use 2 life gems, you can pretty much heal through the whatever it's called, poison. Poison is more vicious than it was in Dark Souls 1. It can kill you pretty quickly. Thankfully, life gems can negate its effects. I do have some poison moss. I think I'm about to put it on my hotbar. Yeah. Toxic, actually, is, as far as I know, not much more powerful. I've only been toxined once in all of my playthroughs of this game so far. Haven't really had much of an issue with it, so who knows. I don't know if I care for the philosophy, the design philosophy of these poison areas. That you can't see anything through the mist. It's not particularly challenging, and it's more just annoying, so I don't know. We'll come to a verdict eventually, I'm sure. By we, of course, I mean Royal we. There are a lot of these places you can just jump down into. There's one, at least, that is a troll jump that you get used to jumping into these pits, and then you just die. I'm picking up a surprising number of items. Actually, I don't remember picking up all these items, but as I said, I'm already poisoned. Might as well see what's out here. So I don't know. Off camera, I bought life gems. You see, I stocked up on a decent number. I think by the end of the next area, they're almost all gone. But now here's where I show the merits of the akimbo maces. That is a very beefy enemy that I just one-shot. Technically it's 3 attacks, but it is 1 button, so if anyone wants to do a one-shot challenge, dual wielding is the way to do so, because you can, some weapons have attacks like that. One-shot challenge won't be nearly as viable as it was in the original game, though, because enemies just have a lot of health, and by enemies I mean, of course, bosses. These guys can poison themselves if you let them. They have to break a pot with poison, a poison substance in it. But Old Mundane Stone, I believe that's... Oh, that's for making mundane weapons. Down here... Well, I look over there for some reason. Down here is an Estus Flask Shard. It's that item way over there. And it is quite lovely. Actually, is there a corpse there? I can't tell. Because you'll notice... and I don't remember. I think I die in here. I don't remember. But some weird, I guess, temporal or just physical things about the Souls games, at least Dark Souls. Every item is on a corpse, except for one, which is I think it's the server in Blighttown, which I think might have just been they forgot to put a corpse there or something. But you have to interact with death, with a corpse, to touch things. Goodness, I cannot remember whose video I was watching that pointed this out to me, and I apologize for not citing them. My guess is that kind of sounds like a Vaati video, but who knows. Kimbo maces, they're lovely. I think it's here that I die though. So I'm poisoned, I don't have an active life gem. Yep. Anyway, we'll come back to this in a minute. So you'll see I'm human because I summoned into someone else's world during the time. I think I died a few more times that I cut out. I didn't watch all of it, of course, because who wants to watch themselves play Dark Souls in the past? These guys are beefy. They're the same enemies from the Cops or Copes. I'm going to say the Cops or Copes every time so that I am pronouncing it almost correctly 50% of the time. And what is this? It's a sunlight altar, it looks like, but no, it couldn't be the same sunlight altar. Could it be? Well, who knows? We don't know. Sun Seal increases your miracle power, and I put it on here. So that's it's pretty cool. Since I'm using miracles, and since I only had 3 rings equipped, there is no reason not to put it on. I mean, I guess weight, technically. But rings aren't that heavy. I guess that's their balance, for their way of balancing the fact that you can have 4 rings now instead of just 2, but not really a big deal, quite honestly. Up here, I think, if I remember correctly, I jump around. I'm fairly thorough inside this building, this structure in this area. You see me attacking too late. I should have dodged instead, but in general, I tend to use more life gems than Estus, just because Estus is, I don't know, life gems you can have 99, Estus you can only have up to 12. So, I don't know. It's not always the best philosophy. I see other people using Estus more commonly than I do. Ian B uses it a lot, and pff, dumb death. I cut out some more deaths and stupid things. That stupid death that you just saw, you kind of need a drop attack there, because when you sometimes roll off of ledges and stuff, the trick to getting into there, which actually I think I was going there because I died there previously in the footage I showed. Anyway, The trick is just to sprint off and then drop attack when you're over it, because that stops your momentum. I get tired of the area, so I just go in here and decide to fight the boss, who bears a striking resemblance to none other than Jabba the Hutt. This guy is not that hard, but he can be a pain if you're not careful. That attack can hit you. It can hit you, surprisingly enough. No, it can hit you pretty hard. I think I have a pretty poor fight, if I remember correctly, about as poor as I could go without actually dying. He's surprisingly quick in pursuit. I get so lucky there. It's shocking that didn't hit me. I was an inch away from death, as I am right now. Have to get over here and heal. You can't go up those stairs, although you can sort of get on the first little broken step there. As far as I know, you can't get on them. Maybe you can. Because as you have seen previously, if you watched my previous videos, you do have vertical leap in your jump, so maybe you can. I'm not sure. Honestly, you should have just meleeed this boss. The casting isn't too useful unless you've got someone tanking for you. Not that big a deal, really, but he, you can see I'm doing pretty good melee damage and dodging much more easily. He likes to move you around the room. Reminds me of the Drakes from the first game, how they could move you pretty easily. And get his soul, Covetous Demon. Yeah. I don't know what you get from using his soul, so I won't try and comment on that. I don't really know any of the soul trading stuff, mechanics or anything. I guess surprisingly enough, I don't know, not that surprising. Here's Lucatiel. She tells you a sad story at this point about her brother. Her dialogue, if I remember correctly, is interchangeable. It's just the order. She shows up in multiple places, but she will show up there as you show up there. So she'll give you the dialogue in the order of places you go. I tend to go in roughly the same order, and when I talk to her, she'll give me the same stuff. If I remember right, there are just plenty of stupid deaths. These henchmen, what are they called? The Headless Horsemen, whatever. I can't remember their official name. They're pretty brutal. Pretty brutal legend. They stutter a lot, and they have a speech impediment. No. There you see me getting lucky and not getting parried by this guy. They're just pretty annoying enemies, really. They are, there's some interesting lore behind them that I'm not completely familiar with, but is, they are essentially puppets of, I don't even remember who's puppeteering them. It might be the boss of the area, but I don't think it is. Anyway, they're pretty interesting. So interesting that I remember almost nothing about them. These guys can give you a hard time. They like to give you a hard time. And get lucky and knock them off. This guy's pretty hard to hit. You don't really have to take him out. He's not going to give you any trouble. They have bows, which you see me get hit by. I think I'm about to just decide run past it. But, yeah, it's, you see me getting summoned. Probably cut this out. Okay. Well, I cut out some more, I cut out the co-op, and I cut out, some just terrible, stupid, boneheaded deaths in here, and I finally just got up the nerve to run through and try and make it to the next bonfire. There's nothing I really care about getting, like, souls from the enemies or anything. Normally 2 of those guys drop down pretty immediately. And I think the other one took the ladder. He took the long way. He took the sensible approach. You kind of have to kite them around to make it up this ladder, because with that many enemies, they can macho crunch you pretty easily. Up here, this is the because there are so many enemies following me. There's a good chance that if I went through the fog gate, I would not be able to light them on fire. There, I land on them on fire like a boss, and success. We have made it to the bonfire, and you get the interesting message. First, I light a torch. When you go up to the fog gate, though, traverse the mist from behind, so the game takes note of whether or not you do this properly. I forget that there are all these enemies here, and try to do this with the torch. You burn that windmill you see there. You're supposed to. I think I might even die being a noob, but I shouldn't have tried to fight with a torch, and should have been prepared for enemies. The windmills are some of the most fun visuals. I almost said funnest, but alas, I did not. These guys are, I don't know, maybe I just don't know how to fight them yet. They seem unnecessarily difficult and annoying, but I mean, I guess that's what you're asking for if you're playing a Souls game. High difficult, high annoyance level. And there I say, you know, let's just reset. It's not worth it. You don't have to burn the windmill, but it makes the boss fight easier. Just makes quite a bit easier. It stops the systems that are pumping poison in here, and it will, the boss, Medusa, her actual name, her boss room has poison in it, and she heals when she is in poison. So, it's not necessary. I'm sure for speedruns you wouldn't do it, or maybe you would, because it pretty much means you have to kill 3 enemies right outside there, so that's a lot of wasted time. I almost forget to do something here, I think. I don't know. The knockback in this game is kind of frustrating, because you'll knock back enemies and you can't keep comboing them. It just makes it harder. I guess it sounds like a lot of the things I'm complaining about are just related to difficulty, but I don't know. I embrace the difficulty. It's just things that feel unfair to me are not welcome in my book of bookness. I don't know. These guys, you'll want to take out the poison pots. These ladies. And they're simple enough to kill. Those poison bots, of course, poison them. And this guy's another, well, he's not really that bad, because you can probably stagger him unless you're using like a rapier, or, well, maybe even if you are using a rapier. But he's not too bad. But these casters are horrendously difficult. They very easily kill you. And indeed, I think this one does kill me, so spoilers. At this point, I know I'm not going to need my poison moss on my hotbar. I want to be able to switch pretty easily, and very, very nearly die there. It's all very, very annoying. Yeah, I think I'm checking for secret walls, because these all look like candidates for secret walls. Wilted Dusk Herb, that restores your spell usage, which I guess it's a good time to talk about the herb system that lets you restore your spellcast. It's, I don't know how I like it. For the game, it means you can just cast your way through the game. This guy, I see that he hits through my shields with his weapon, with the wart hook, I think is what it's called. No. Maybe. It's the Shodel. Something in that category. But I get the bonfire, so I'm fine dying to him. He's pretty difficult because you can't block him. You have to dodge. There's a red phantom in this area without an aesthetic or anything. There are a few of those, which interesting game design choices, I suppose. Down there is the boss store, so if you want to just go straight for it, you can drop down. I did not actually know that until someone showed me when I was co-oping. And finally take this guy out. He's not my favorite enemy in the world, but I suppose there are worse. Anyways, maybe at this point I'm realizing where I am. Over here, treasure chest behind a secret wall. Petrified something. You can trade that with the crows. And they will accept it and give you something for it. I think I prefer the trading system in this game because you can trade a lot more, and it's but then again there's not as big of a trade-off because you're not trading away a useful item. So I don't know. And here is a mimic. I think it's the first one we've encountered in this playthrough. Might technically be the first of the game. These guys are just easy to cast against. You see my, you see the mimic take damage there. And I think it, oh. Thought it was going to kill me there, actually. Because I did a little collateral damage to it, it sprung open. I think I've mentioned, maybe in a video that had live commentary that comes after this, but two-handing your weapon is more stamina efficient, I believe, and dual wielding is more for doing a lot of damage very quickly, as far as I know. Don't use this. It's a waste of your Ferris Lock. It's a if you haven't burned the windmill, it will just give you poison. If you have burned the windmill, it will give you a healing fountain that just isn't really useful. So I rest at the bonfire because why not? I'm about to go for the boss. I believe I help someone in just a second, but we'll see. You'll see it as I see it. Why am I warping? That's a good question. Your guess is oh, okay. I know what I'm doing now. Yeah, so this is important. I'll leave it in. Over here, you break these railings. All of them are breakable as far as I know. And you talk to this bro over here. And this is a funny cutscene to me.
Yeah, it's got.
This man will give you ladders, and he's pretty useful. He's useful later in the game, especially. He makes it where you don't have to take a bunch of drops. Now where is he pulling this ladder from? He just pulls up a ladder. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be funny, but part of me thinks that From knew how ridiculous that would look. But he just kind of pulls up a ladder, I guess from his bag. I mean, video game inventory systems are usually pretty ridiculous that you carry all this stuff around with you that you have. Which, in Dark Souls, I suppose, could be explained with lore because of how time and everything works. It's very strange. So who knows, that may be just how your inventory works. I never thought of that until just now, but he'll sell you stuff that costs 2,000 souls to get the ladder. He sells all of this stuff, which is pretty fun. Thief Mask returns from Dark Souls 1, and it also returns that it is different between males and females, which is kind of the coolest thing ever, because on females, it is the best looking mask in the world. Anyway, I have plenty of playthroughs on Dark Souls 2, or Dark Souls 2, the original game, that just have the female, have females with the thief mask on. It's just my favorite thing in the world. Symboline Spice, if I haven't talked about already, it lets you reduce the intelligence and faith or faith requirements of a spell. Can be useful, but you don't get the scaling, so it's probably just something you want to use on a high level spell. For example, I think Soul Mass, homing Soul Mass, if you lower it, instead of 5 little magic orb thingies that float and then kill your target, you only get 3 if you lower the requirement far enough. So you don't get the scaling. So I guess that's a nice balancing thing. For the most part, you're just going to want to have the stats to use the spell. It's maybe for utilities and things, it might be nice. You know, you could, I guess in theory, I think you can just lower things to 0. Normally this here is filled with poison, because we burned the windmill. It isn't. And you can get attacked while on a fog gate. One of my least favorite changes of this game. Okay, so I edited out a co-op run with this one human. I helped them do the boss from that bonfire. And these guys are still annoying, as you can tell. But I managed to, I tried to grab someone, just to have someone in this fight, but I was just running through. This boss fight does not go well at all. It's, not... You see me accidentally two-handing my shield instead of going to power stance. But if you have dual maces, you win this fight because she staggers with the L2, the power stance heavy attack. So you just win like that. It's that easy. And frustration. And then that genuinely frightened me. I'm distraught, actually, that I wasn't doing live commentary, because there was a tiny scream there. It was very much a frightening moment for me. I was not expecting those guys to come in, much less come in so quickly. I'm gonna take fall damage there, no big deal. And, of course, pick up the souls and head off. That should about wrap things up for this video. Got 2 bosses and everything. So, if you enjoyed what you saw, feel free to leave a like. I really appreciate it. If you want to see more content from me, be it this series or any of my other ongoing series or various videos, blah, 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 feel free to subscribe. It's cool to do, I guess. Anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, enjoy your stay in the Bagel Nation. Goodbye.